Sanibonani babukeli sinamukele kwintandokazi yohlelo lenu Yilungelo Lakho. It's your right. We're coming to you live la kumamba phambili SABC 1 eMzansi for sure. Na ku SABC Plus Alicia Jali lo umadlabazane uthi nje molweni babukeli ukhumbuleke sizovula ingcingo emva kwesikhathi ngingasibhalela i-email so long ku consumer@sabc.co.za noma usithole on our social media platforms iFacebook nayo iTwitter. Mbukeli indaba yethu yanamhlanje ke sekuvele ukuthi phela izingane eningizimu Afrika sezithwaliswe ubunzima obuningi bokuthi baswele phela izidingo zazo ngendaba yabazali abenzani ababalekela ukuthi bakhokhele imali yengane yesondlo sengane phecelezi yona i-child support. Manje ke mbukele ukukhuluma kabanzi ngodaba lethu masamukele uMiss Felicity guest yena omele inhlangano i-Child Maintenance Difficulty South Africa sibela nobhuti Mlindeli Ndingaye yena ke ubuya kumnyango i-Department of Justice Constitutional Development as well as Correctional Services. Ladies and gentlemen, a very good afternoon to both of you. Thank you so much for joining us. Let's start with you, Felicity. Welcome.
Thank you very much. Thank you for having us.
Thank you so much for joining us, Baba. Siyabonga ohlelweni.
Ngiyabulela mama. Sivuya ukuba lapha phambi kwakho.
Felicity, let's start with you. Tell us a bit about your organization. Very interesting name pertaining to the topic that we're discussing today. What is it that you guys do?
So we empower parents to understand what the process is and how to navigate the process. The stats on the group are that 84% are women and 16% men. The 84% in the majority are parents who are trying to get child support for their children. A small percentage of partners supporting their spouses who either have primary care and trying to get maintenance from the mother, or they feel that they are being abused by the
baby fathers.
So there's a small percentage of women who are there to support mainly men, but in the majority it is women who are really battling to get child support for their children.
How do you assist them, Felicity?
So the first thing is there's different things. So it's either first applications or arrears. It's one or the other.
Okay.
So it's assisting first applicants what to expect, how to go about the process.
These were previously parents that were not getting any child support at all.
Correct.
Okay.
So these are first applicants. So these are mainly parents of children who were born out of marriages, or people who are going through a divorce and trying to get the child maintenance agreement as part of their divorce settlement.
Okay.
But in the majority, it is parents whose children were born out of marriage.
Oh, I see. Very interesting demographic there.
Yeah, so it's because it's a maintenance court, but it's perceived to be a court like all other courts.
Okay.
But in practice, it's an office that you go to start a application. So it's called court. So people's perception is that you're going to court. So they think they're going in front of a magistrate, and it's kind of very formal, but the whole process is informal up until it gets to the point where it needs to appear in front of a magistrate. But
absolutely, and then all court orders are obviously...
So there's this not knowing and the intimidation and fear of authority. So they come there saying, what's going to happen? Do I go in front of a magistrate the first time? How do I fill in the forms? Just trying to understand the process, because it's intimidating. We are socialized to be intimidated by law, because if you're going assembly because you've done something wrong. So it's that socialization. There's a fear of approaching the courts. But so it's explaining what to expect, how to complete your forms properly, and then once you're in the system, the various stages in the system. And then the other part is where there is arrears. So I've had a maintenance agreement, whether it's through a divorce.
And you're not keeping up to your promises.
Well, they've defaulted, and then what happens?
All right.
So it's explaining that.
Very interesting indeed. We're going to talk further about your organization and what are some of the cases that you deal with. Dr. Mlindeli, I mean, I understand there's 13,219 cases that are currently pending in the 459 courts. This is an alarming number, and child maintenance matters lawa xa kutheni kune backlog engaka tata?
Ndixelele into enye mama. Xa ngaba umuntu efika ecourt uqala kwi-office maintenance clerk.
Okay.
I-maintenance clerk yiyo ethatha laa nto i-complaint yakhe. That particular complaint, it must be accompanied by certain documents.
Okay.
Those particular documents is one, she must have an identity document, certified copy, and the birth certificate of the child.
Okay.
And then the residential address of hers, and then the bank statement.
Okay.
And also, you must be able to say, you tabulate whatever that is an expense.
Okay.
Because you look into your expenses plus the expenses of the children. Okay. Because the needs of the children are of paramount importance. So whatever that we do, we are making sure that at the end, once I receive the complaint, and therefore what kind of steps I'm going to take. It will be in an informal, as Felicity has said. It's an informal inquiry where I'm going to request some of the documents, then I'll hear. Remember, once I start talking to them, I have to explain the processes that are going to unfold. Okay. Because
process man Mlindeli, because I'm sure abantu abaninzi abayazi le process uba uqalaphi, because uFelicity uyasixelela uba if uya e-office labo they assist you with application if usiya pha for the first time, and obviously to rectify ababa default time. So any process, is it different from what abo Felicity does?
It's not different. It's one and the same thing. Okay. But we're doing it differently. Remember that I myself, as a maintenance officer, yes, I will be waiting for a file to come to me. Okay. So the file comes from a maintenance clerk. Okay. Which when you come in, you are going to be assisted by a maintenance clerk. You complete the form and have all these particular necessary documents that I've mentioned. Okay. So in those particular documents, when I think, then I will ask them. The first question that I will be asking, is the paternity is not in dispute? If the paternity is not in dispute, then we going forward. But if the paternity is in dispute, then now we're going to request for a DNA to be done. Once you have done DNA test, then you go to the next step where you're going to look into both parties' financial circumstances. Remember, we've got to section 15 of the Maintenance Act. That particular section 15 states clearly that both parents have an obligation to maintain their children. They have to do that according to their financial circumstances. Yes. So once we come to those, then you must look to the needs of the child. Okay. You must look to the means available to meet those particular needs. And therefore, also look to the question of affordability. Yeah, well, once you have those and then you sit with them, you show them the scenarios. You have 5 basic necessities. You've got the food, you have the clothing, you have got the medical expenses, you've got your educational expenses, plus accommodation. Those are the 5 basic necessities that you must look at and look into how much is the particular child on a monthly basis spending. If the mother is spending more, she wants now the father to take responsibility because he ran away and was not complying with the order. Okay. Let's see. If let's say they come to an agreement, then we'll go to court, we write a consent order. That particular consent order, it will be confirmed by the magistrate. Okay. And made an order of court. All right. Kawibamba apho ke Tata Mlindeli, because ngifuna uthatha ikhefu mbukeli. We're coming back. I'll be opening your lines. You can call us live in studio. Nazi number apho. Otherwise consume at sabc.co.za noma usithole on our social media platforms. We're back shortly after this. Ngayindawo. Welcome back to Yilungelo Lakho. Namhlanje ke sikhuluma nge-child maintenance fees neyinkinga ke mbukeli othola ukuthi omama noma obaba, because bakhona obaba bafuna ukuthi bondle ingane zabo, uthola ukuthi umama usebhithi unenhliziyo ebuhlungu ukuthi bamshile, uzokwenza nje izinto zibe difficult, ubaba akasakhona ukubona ingane, they don't have access to the child. So siphethe lana Miss Felicity Guest omele ke yena i-child maintenance difficulties in South Africa, i-organization ke leyo ke babukele njengoba beseshilo
ukuthi isiza nini ukuthi ni-aplayele for zona lezi zinto ukuthi if wena uyofaka isicelo sokuthi ubaba wengane noma uma wengane akafuni ukumaintain umntwana uyakhona bakusize ngaleyo process e-office. Nalabo-ke aba-defaultayo akahambi yedwa, uhamba nobaba Mlindeli Ndingaye, yena-ke uvela e-Department of Justice, uyena-ke osazisayo ukuthi ngomthetho kumele kusebenzeke kanjani. You can start calling us usichazele ukuthi inkinga yakho yini. All right, so Felicity, maybe talk to us about some of the most common cases that you deal with. Who's mostly at fault? I know you mentioned that it was the 84%, it's women that are seeking the fathers to actually maintain their kids, but who is mostly at fault for defaulting for non-payment? Because there's this perception that there's certain men that do not, there's certain men that do not have access to their kids because the mothers are making the process very difficult for their guys. And you'll find that they had a bit of a separation or split up, so therefore the mother will use any and everything to ensure that the child does not get access to the father, or the father does not get access to the child, just on a bit of dispute. Talk to us about that.
So I think realistically that exists, because when people get separated, in most cases there's unresolved issues.
Yeah.
Okay, so how are we going to fight our battles? We're going to use money and we're going to use children.
And who ends up losing the most?
To punish each other, the children. You know the old African proverb, when two elephant bulls fight, what gets damaged?
The grass suffers the most.
Exactly. So our law, our Children's Act is there to protect children. And that's what the Maintenance Act is from that, because the Children's Act speaks about protecting and providing, caring for children. So care means the physical care, their emotional care, and the financial care. In the Children's Act, it also speaks about parental rights, and it's a child's right to a relationship with both parents.
Absolutely.
And it's a child's right to financial support from both parents.
From both, yes.
So for me, and we discussed this briefly, social development needs to come on board to deal with the emotional aspects, to sort that out, because while that exists, you're always the children are going to suffer.
Is there any mediation that you guys provide, like counseling for couples that find themselves in that situation?
Well, I don't.
Shame.
Because there's a need for it, but I don't have the financial resource. I do this with no funding at a cost to myself, because I care and I want it to change, because one, I'm a child from a broken family.
Yeah.
I have children, I've gone through the system, but also running my groups. My groups, in fact, is 12 years old. 9 years old tomorrow. Tomorrow my group is 9 years old. I've been running this group for 9 years, and I started it because I went through the system and I felt unsupported. Nobody understood me. The system wasn't protecting me or my children.
Yeah.
So that's why I started my group, and that's why we've got all these members. So the biggest challenges that I hear on my group is that essentially the system is failing them. It's not because the Maintenance Act is inadequate.
Yes.
It's the systemic gaps and barriers. So what are those? We can blame the system, but there are people who are implementing that system.
Absolutely,
So we
Felicity.
have to blame the people, and we have to hold the people responsible.
Hold that thought. I'm really coming to that point of holding people to account. Let's go to the lines. We've got Anonymous from Pretoria. Anonymous, thank you so much for calling in. How can we assist you today?
Thank you so much for having me. I have a problem here.
Yes, go ahead, Anonymous.
I have a court order since 2021 for child maintenance. It was 500 rand. And then in 2022, I lost my job, and I tried to communicate with the father of the child so that he can top up me at least 100 rand. And he disagreed. I went back to court, and they called him, and then they told him that he has to top up 200 rand extra. So now it's been 2 months. He hasn't paid the maintenance. When I went to court, they said I must wait, and then when I come back next month, and then if he didn't top up the money, I must come with bank statement. So when I called him, he just told me that he doesn't have money.
Okay, Anonymous, thank you so much. So at this stage, you are not getting the amended 700 rand from him, and you're still without a job?
Yes.
Okay, all right. Are you having any other means, like social services? Like, have you applied for any child grants there?
Yes, my child gets a support grant.
Okay. All right, Anonymous, please listen on your television there. Tatu Mlindeli, singamnceda njani sisters unengxaki ngempela. She went to court. The court had ordered that the father must pay 500 rand and then walahlekelwa ngumsebenzi. She went back again, report court because he was already defaulting. But again, even with the amended extra cost here 200 rand, he's still not paying.
Mamela mama, into engamandla. Xa ngaba umuntu uyasilela ukubhatala isondlo sakhe. Sina solotya section 26.
Okay.
Elidila nge-enforcement of maintenance orders.
Okay. Iphangela njani?
Into eyenzekayo. I-order le ine-date yayo.
Okay.
Ukuba ngaba kuthiwe pay by the end of the month. Unikezwa i-grace period of 7 days.
Yeah.
And then ela solotya section 26 lithi kufaneleke ukuthi after la 7 days ulinde 10 working days uze ne-bank statement.
Okay.
And into siyenzayo asikubizi wena tata.
Okay.
Senza le application ngokwesilungu ba ibiza ngokuba i-ex parte. That means it's only the mother that is there.
Okay.
Uzawugcwalisa iform le, then se-attach i-order that is existing,
okay,
which is still enforceable.
Okay.
Then kube ne-affidavit efanele ifakiwe pha echazayo uba utata usilele ukubhatala i-maintenance yakhe kusukela ngale date. Uzotsho ngale date ityala lakhe mhlawumbi lingu-1700 lizawubekwa pha. Into esiyenzayo after kufuneka kuthathwe la bank statement njengoba nithi yiform eqala ibe i-court order,
okay,
ibe i-affidavit on which the application is based, and then ibe yi-bank statement. And then the last document that we would be having yile yokuthi ibonakalisa ukuthi uzibale kanjani lama areas. Ukuwabala kwakho kubonakalisa long. Then into siyenzayo lento siyithatha siyise phambi magistrate. Magistrate into ayenzayo uyayithatha lento akunikeze i-order ethi umqashi mayibe nguwothatha imali emholweni yakhe.
Okay.
Singakwazisanga wena tata womntwana.
Okay.
Siyithathe emholweni inyanga nenyanga. Into esiyenzayo kule ndawo ndisebenza kuyo eJohannesburg, sithatha le mali ye-maintenance sithathe nama-areas until ama-areas abhataleke ngokupheleleyo.
Okay. Felicity, how do you assist in that instance where you get somebody who's already got a court order but they're just not abiding by it?
So as we guide them what to do from here. So
okay,
I mean, if she was on my group and she said, this is my situation, then we would say to her, well, first of all, the moment he's, as Mlindeli said,
yes,
the moment 7 days in arrears, you go and do your application. But there's no consistency around the country.
Yeah.
We have women who are told you can only come back after 3 months to claim arrears.
What?
So there's no uniformity of implementation of the Maintenance Act. So it depends. And every time, I mean, for that woman, for 3 months, now you're 3 months in arrears. The bigger the arrears, the more difficult it becomes to claim your arrears. So 7 days, then you go and you institute. And as Mlindeli said, you know, you take all your supporting evidence to prove they haven't paid.
Felicity, hold that thought. I want you to continue with this process after the break. Mbukeli, ungashayela nawe ucingo lapho 011-714-0669, alternatively 714-0670. We've also got a WhatsApp line, 060-844-9857. That WhatsApp line again, 060-844-9857. Ungasidrophela ama-voice notes, ungasidrophela ama-lokhuzana, ama-WhatsApp lapha, ama-messages, ngizothola ukuthi nifuna usizo olunjani. We're back shortly after this. Ningaindawo. Welcome back. We're still talking child maintenance issues. Indaba ke enhlangana nazo, inkinga enhlangana nazo uma ke senifuna ukuthi abantwana bakhokhelwe leyo mali yokuthi isondlo sabantwana. You can call us in studio now, ne WhatsApp line 0608449857. Pertaining to our previous comment, Utolafelo Rose uti interesting. I'm also told to wait 2 or 3 months for arrears, like Felicity was saying. So I'm going to take that advice and take action. And she says, thank you guys, you are lifesavers. That is exactly what we strive to do. Thank you so much. Keep those comments coming in. Let's go back to the lines now. We do have But Samuel all the way from Western area. But Samuel, thank you so much for staying on the line.
Ndiyabonga. Well, the problem one ukuthi right is fine. Iqale ngokuthi okay ndiyenze default whereby ndingabizwanga ukuthi ndize court. Right is fine. Ndiye pha maintenance court.
Okay.
Masifika lapha ngithola ukuthi nginamaphepha enze default. Then whereby we take it from there. Masiqala kuyo ke right ufuneka abantwana beze ke babe ne choice basikhulumela ukuthi hayi abantwana right ngifuna kanjani whereby ngoba sidivorceile nalomfazi.
Yeah.
Then i-court order yona degree of divorce then even yiyo inikeze ukuthi okay the guardian umuntu wasebenza uyafana ukuthi amaintain abantwana. No, it's fine. Agree kanjalo but kwatholakala ukuthi pha masifika e-maintenance court ayisaba njalo lento umfazi uthi mina ndithi okay kulungile lo muzi ndiwenzela abantwana ngoba ndimuntu ndisebenzayo kodwa ndihlale pha emzini ndihlale ndisemsebenzini le job ke le nto yenzeke Limpopo le.
Okay.
Right is fine. Right awatholakala ukuthi manje kune-confliction yokuthi ndifanele hlala ndicela apha emsebenzini ndiye ndiyathende le nto leyana senze i-agreement yakhona mara umama angafuni mina abantwana ndibe nabo ndibabone noba ndithi ndiyile pha ekhohlo babiziwe kuma-social worker ababafonele beze ke abezi labantwana uza umama wabo then kwathola ukuthi kuba ne-confliction manje ndigcine ndithi okay asenze i-DNA test yabantwana why lo mfazi abalekisa abantwana till now ndisaba-maintaina but i-problem iwani ukuthi okay ndibe ndenze i-arrangement last ndafeyila ngendaba yokuthi where my CV ndifanele ndiqale ndiyikline ngoba ndilove kakhulu ndicela emsebenzini ndihambela le ndaba ye-maintenance.
Okay, but when I put Samuel uyaba-maintain abantwana according to the previous court order le bithi uba umuntu ophangelayo which was you in this case nyanzeleke kubuyena obhadala abantwana.
Yes, ndiyaba-maintain until now.
Okay, and still umama akafuni ukuba ubabona abantwana, you don't have access to abantwana bakho?
Yes, andinayo access whereby sizenza i-agreement yokuthi okay mandifika lapha ndicela ukuthi abantwana esikolweni esivala bakwazi uza kimi ndikwazi ubathengela nempahla yesikolo zonke izinto zinjalo.
Okay.
Kutholakala ukuthi labantwana-ke babathathu labantwana right nabe-2 bacede esikolweni baphasa babe-right ngoku ndiva mna nje endleleni ngezindaba ukuthi hayi abantwana ababili basebashatile banabantwana ngapha ndisamaintaina le mali leya ndibe ndimaintaina abantwana abayi-3 obathathu.
But Samuel, what happened? I also noted that you mentioned i-DNA test. Ugqibe uyifumene i-results ze-DNA test for bonke abantwana abondlayo?
Hayi angafunanga ukuthi beze abantwana bafike bengezanga abantwana bathola okay manje-ke ngendaba yokuthi ndihlala ndicela emsebenzini I can be dismissal so ndiqale ndiyiclean i-CV yami emsebenzini kube clean then ndistarte up from back up mara now ndithola ukuthi kune-possibility yokuthi okay abantwana ndiva nje ngoba andikwazi ngofika pha mandifika pha kuyabiwa ndibizelwa amapholisa kwenziwa yonke le nto leyo uyayibona into enjalo so andiyazi le nto enjalo ndingayisolva ndiyidinge.
But Samuel nangu ubhuti Mlindeli apha. Bhuti Mlindeli, please address ubhuti Samuel. How can you help him and assist him, because there is a court order, he's maintaining abantwana but he does not have access to abantwana. You spoke about DNA when we started the show, but if there is a dispute uthi in this case umama kafuni uba kwenziwe lo DNA but he's continued uba maintain abantwana, so kuzawuthiwani ngoku? Please address him, is online.
Masiqaphele mama ukuba xa ngaba utata ufuna i-DNA test abantwana funeka babekho ukwenzela uba kwenziwe i-DNA. Ukuba ngaba umama kafuni njengoba esichazela ngokuba akababoni abantwana bakhe njengoba engababoni umama uyenzela ntoni loo nto leyo ukungamnikezi utata.
And she's insisting on ukubana abantwana ba-maintainwe but akafuni ukuba kwenziwe i-DNA.
Kufuneka mama uqaphele ukuba kune-children's court edila nge-access and parental responsibilities. Utata xa efuna i-access ebantwaneni bakhe ufanele aye e-children's court kule ndawo abantwana bahlala kuyo because ayifani ne-maintenance i-Children's Act. I-jurisdiction is where the children are. So ufuneka utata aye khona pha ukwenzela azofumana i-access and parental responsibilities. And also ngela xesha abaphaya e-children's court unalo ilungelo lokufuna ukuba kwenziwe i-DNA test Siyayenza nalapha children's court apha eJoburg.
But is he continuing to pay maintenance while then there's this dispute whereby he's now going to go back to a children's court ayo apply DNA kukwi dispute?
Ukhumbule mama, xa ngaba kune dispute DNA, there is an existing maintenance order.
Okay.
Ukuba ngaba mhlambi lento iyaveza ukuthi abantwana bakaBaba Samuel ayingobantwana bakhe. Kuzawufuneka ayazi yena uba uzawuthatha amanyathelo mani ukubuyiselwa imali yakhe le ebesondla ngayo abantwana kanti ayingobakhe. Ngoba into endiyifumanisayo umama xa engezi nabantwana ecourt ubonakalisa ukuba kunento ayifihlayo.
Ewe.
Kungathini ukufihla ngoba kaloku abantwana nje ba utata ebondla nje uyafuna nabe nobudlelwana nabantwana bakhe. Uyenza kanjani ungamnikezi utata ilungelo lakhe loba nobudlelwana nabantwana? Zininzi ke izinto kodwa ke thina sidila ngesondlo kwelicala ngapha ichildren's court badila ubudlelwane ne-access.
Okay, so he needs to go a children's court apho abantwana bereside khona athi ucela isicelo se-DNA abantwana baziswe
and ucela nobona abantwana bakhe
ukwenzela uba bazo-appeal. Lo process ithatha roughly how long, Mlindeli? Ithatha how long?
Ayinawuthatha ixesha lide.
Okay, so xa efika efaka isicelo like today
bazamnikeza idate ukuba kulanto kuzawuhamba kuyoseva umama azofika apha bamnikeza uba ngedate ethile funeka nibe lapha umama nabantwana nawe ke tata ube khona.
Very interesting, Felicity. Do you ever get fathers that actually come with these stories whereby there's a question of DNA, but the mother insists to not bring the children in for DNA and also is barring the father from seeing the children? I mean, we made a very rough example about it because this is almost the norm in South Africa where women just automatically blame the men.
Okay, I think it's a lot more complex than that.
Yeah.
Okay, but let's take that particular scenario. Is that I think just men as well don't seem to do the homework to see what the rights are or what. So, you know, my observations are that they'll complain on social media, but very few of them will actually go to court and go, I'm being denied access to my children. Where do they go to? They can Google and get that information. But not everybody has data, but you can go to your nearest court. You can go to your nearest magistrate's court. There's a family section, section in every single magisterial court. So you can go to your nearest magistrate court to get the information and then go, and as Mlindeli said, the jurisdiction is where the child is.
Okay.
But I think that because it's a lot more complex than this, is that one, why is the mother denying the father rights?
Exactly.
We can't assume she's just being spiteful. And I'm not saying this is in Samuel's case at all. But when you start digging deeper is, if you look at the rate of gender-based violence in this country, we cannot exclude it as a possibility. So we have a lot of mothers who have protection orders against the fathers of their children. So that's one of the reasons, is that they have a protection order. But, and also, you know, we won't unpack this of whether those are malicious or not. I mean, that's a different story.
Yeah, that's a different story, yeah.
Even if they don't have a protection order, there's been some level of domestic violence. So one is to avoid them. Okay, so they don't want to have anything to do with them. That's quite a high percentage. And then also, you know, just like women have recourse at the maintenance courts, the fathers also have recourse at the maintenance courts.
And hold it there, Felicity, because I'm sure fathers are listening now. If there's no disputes, if there's no protection orders against you, uyezwa usis Felicity uthi une right yokuthi uyahamba uyenkantolo emagistrates ngakini uye kwi-family wing ucele ukuthi hey nangumuntu engivimbela ukuthi ngibone abantwana bami. Let's quickly take uSimphiwe Davidson before siya eKevin. But Simphiwe, ngiyakwamukela nsizwa ohlelweni, singakusiza kanjani ithi qaba nje sizokhona ukusiza emva kweKev? But Simphiwe?
Hello.
Hi Simphiwe, kunjani?
Ngiyaphila.
Ngiyaphila sisi wami. Singakusiza kanjani Ntokazi?
Mina ngibopisa ubaba umntana ngamisa ecourt for i-maintenance nurses. Mangifika khona waphila umntwana. Makaphila umntwana bathi kuyafana senze i-DNA test, bathipha ilanga le-DNA test. Saya ngenanga le-DNA test nomntwana wangafika ecourt, sahlala the whole day. Saze sajika bathi jikani sizoyenza incwadi yokuthi yena asebenza khona and then sizothatha imali ngoba akazanga
enkantolo. Yes.
So, yeah, so only to find out ukuthi mina angazi la asebenza khona.
Okay.
Ngibuye ngelinye ilanga mangibuya bathi ngishiye iphone number bazokuna system esekhona khotho ukuthi ithethe iphone number ukuthi usebenza kuphi.
Okay.
Mangibuyela bathi kimi abakutholi ukuthi usebenza kuphi and then mangibuya after 3 months mangibuyela after 3 months yakhona still abakatholi nami ngiyazama ukuthi ngifunela lokushini angitholi ukuthi usebenza ngoba usecretive kakhulu.
Okay.
So kumele for no system yabo ukuthi iyenze kanjalo ayikayenzi. So angisangithwele ngezini.
Okay, and then sisimphiwe kwamanje umisa kanjani siso? Awunayo iphone number kababa omntwana umtshela umchazela ukuthi phela iDNA yayifunile lafika usuku ladlula waye ngazange azafike nansi inkantolo yamfuna la esebenza khona.
Ngamtshela ngamtshela it was towards April ngamtshela wathi kimi yena into yecourt abayilokuzananga yena into enzokuthi angayikusori i-DNA ukuthi umntana uyazi ukuthi owakhe so akafuni into ezotraumatize umntanakhe so yena imali maintenance imali anganayo and nisho ukuthi uyasebenza uyahola every month.
Okay sisimphiwe siyabonga kakhulu siswami sicela ulalele lapho kumabona kude wakho uzozwa umpendulo noma impendulo emva kwekhefu mbukeli nawe if you have any child maintenance issues 0608449857 alternatively 0117140669 and 7140670 consumer at sabc.co.za siyabonga ngaleli khefu. Do you have any child maintenance issues? 011-714-0669 or 714-0670. Those are studio lines, as well as the 0608449857. That's the WhatsApp line. You can also drop us your voice notes there. You can alternatively send us an email to consumer@sabc.co.za. Let's go back to the comments before Sipendulusi Simpiwe. Utulofelo Rose Uti. Okay, she did tell us Leyo Guti, we are lifesavers. Yena futhi uti, I really love Felicity. You're my true hero and you deserve an award for the passion of children's rights. So thank you, Felicity. People are responding well to your program. And then they want your contacts. Ama contacts of Felicity akhona lapho ku screen imbukeli. We'll also put them on our Facebook page as well as Ezigabhuti Mlindeli nazo zikhona laphayana. All right. So Utulofela Rose also says that barring the father is not right. A child deserves both parents who must be in their child's life, no matter what the difference is about the child. It's always about the child always. So thank you so much for your contributions. Mlindeli, let's talk about the case Simpiwe where Utata disputed the paternity and then when there was a date for DNA, he didn't pitch up. Kwenziwa njani in that instance because usayabalega manje he's not pitching up for any of our demands ekumele awamithe for umntwana.
Ingxaki mama iwa xa ngaba ufike phambi kwami usithi kune dispute epaternity kufanele ndithathe ntoni ndithathe nina nezi couples. I must go before a magistrate. A magistrate must warn you that you are coming. For instance, we are doing a DNA test every first Friday of the month.
Okay.
So we are postponing the matter for those particular DNA tests. So you must be there, so that the magistrate can warn you to be here on the date of the DNA.
But he didn't pitch, and then what happens after that?
Ingxaki le ndinayo ngoba andazi ba maintenance officer wabathatha na uSimpiwe wabasa phambi ko magistrate. Once ubasa phambi ko magistrate will warn you to come here, and then he will tell you the consequences of non-appearance.
Yeah.
And then once you are not there on the day in question, then we are dealing with either they are issuing a warrant for your arrest, and also since uSimpiwe esixelela into eyi-1 yokuthi
but they can't find him anyway.
akayazi uba utata usebenza phi. Kwasekuqaleni ma xa ngaba abantu banikeza iinkcukacha zikatata funeka bazinikeze iinkcukacha ezipheleleyo la asebenza khona la ahlala khona
nama bank statements akhe
Kuyadependa mama xa sesingekawafumana ama-bank statement because sisaqala ngale DNA ngoba yinto yokuqala phambi koba sizongena nzulu kwisondlo kufuneka ke ngoku into esiyenzayo i-maintenance investigators zethu ziyakwazi ukulanto ukufumana i-phone number yaloo mntu then kuyo kwi-TransUnion kwenziwe le nto kuthiwa yi-ITC check. That is where we will find where you are working.
But they haven't been able to track him down.
Ingxaki endinayo mna i-one ba ayitsho nale nto ngoba uba une-telephone that has been recorded then kulula uba sifumane yonke loo nto. So ngoku kucacile ukuthi kulaa ndawo okanye kuloo court ebekuyo abeyenzanga umsebenzi wabo ngoba uze uqaphele kuya ngokuthi wena unalo thando lwalo msebenzi wenzayo okanye wenza nje ngoba khona abantu abenza nje bathathe ngokuthina as a maintenance officer siba ziziscapegoat yinto esingayifuniyo ke leyo. Kufuneka wenze sure ukuthi lo mama njeba ekhala ngokuba umntana wakhe akondliwa yenza inzame go beyond what's the call of your work.
Guys, are you hearing that? There could possibly be a warrant out for your arrest if wena awuze court dispute ama-paternity and then you don't show up ukuthi uzothola lawo ma-results. So i-serious ngempela le ndaba uzoyithola upakile emoli or uyazi-enjoya kuphi bafike lapha bakubophe bese kube ngathi umthetho wena uyadiscriminate. Let's quickly take Anonymous from Social Guve before siya ekhefini. Anonymous, thank you so much for staying on the line. How can we assist you today? Siyaphila baba unjani?
Ngiyaphila.
Siyaphila nsizwa, go ahead.
Inkinga yami ngifuna ukwazi ukuthi uma uhlala nomntwana umenzela yonke into uma esikoleni whatever ama-transport yonke into ukudla kuwumenzelayo.
Yes.
And umama yakhe ahola le mali egrandi angamenzeli lutho ngemali yakhona. Uzila kanjani lapho?
So umama aga contribute lutho Anonymous yonke into yenziwa wena umntana uhlala kuwena umama kodwa ucollect imali ye-social grant.
Yes.
Baba, siyabonga kakhulu sicela ulalele lapho Anonymous on your television. We're going to deal with that matter after the break. And let's take another quick ad break. We're back shortly after this. Unfortunately, it's our final segment. Unless they can squeeze you in, squeeze. So you can still try the lines. I'm still with Usis Felicity, guest Yilungelo with child maintenance difficulties, South Africa, alongside Mlindeli Ndingaye, Yilungelo Vela Department of Justice. He is a maintenance officer. Maintenance. So Felicity, you heard the story. The father lives with the child, pays for everything. Mother goes, collects social grant. Lord knows what she's doing. Is she doing the nails and hair and not actually contributing to the child because the father in this case is providing for everything, of which it's not a rare case where we hear that the child actually stays with the father.
So again, I say, why is he not getting maintenance from her? Why is he not enforcing it?
Exactly.
One, we have to be realistic. The men in these situations face a lot of bias in the courts because they go, but you're the man, you just like support the children. There's a maintenance act. It's not gender specific. It is primary parent and the parent that is required to pay maintenance. So it's not gender specific. So I always say to fathers, who are in this situation, go to the courts and go and enforce. It's a child's right. It's not your sense of entitlement to money. It's a child's right to financial support from both parents. Go and uphold your child's rights. But in this particular case, one, it should be reported to SASA.
Okay.
Because there's fraud there. The money is for the child and the child's not benefiting.
It's not
SASA will do an investigation and suspend it. That's not a maintenance issue that needs to be dealt with SASA.
Mlindeli, maybe just jump in there, Tata, ukuthi why ningasebenzi ndawonye nelokhuzana ne-social services to try and mitigate izinto ezinje xa ziyenzeka ukuthi how is this woman receiving a child grant and nina nikhiphi lokhuzana umama anazi ukuba she's actually just receiving the child grant but not maintaining umntana, which is what it's intended for.
Ingxaki mama usasa usebenza in silos.
Njani kutheni ngabaropi in?
Ngohlobo lokuba xa ngaba kunezinto ufumanisa ba umuntu ufumana ne-social grant. The social grant is meant for umntwana. It's not meant for umama womntwana. So naxa mhlawumbi sidila nge-enquiry court asiyijongi kakhulu le mali ye-social grant. Sijonga ukuthi izidingo zomntana ziyimalini, singayithathela ingqalelo ngoba la mali yeyomntwana. Ngoku into ezenzekayo ukuba ngaba u-social development angasebenzisana nathi kwa-justice, singayizama ukuzivala ezingxaki ezivelayo. Into engamandla inye into yokuba utata njengoba ethetha ngoba umntana uhlala naye.
Yes.
Njengoba bendike ndathi section 15 uclear uthi both parents have an obligation to maintain.
Yes.
So luxanduva labazali bobabini uba mabondle umntwana. So umntwana ubuhlala notata, utata unelungelo yovula i-maintenance case e-court ukwenzela azofumana i-contribution esuka kumama.
Do you ever get cases as injalo though, Tata Mlindeli, where the fathers are proactive in getting the mama ubaba maintain abantwana because abantwana they residing nabo tata?
Ukusuka ngo-2016 mama ndinazo ii-cases I think 4 ebendikhe ndasebenza ngazo. Apho umama abhatala i-maintenance kutata ngoba utata nguye ohlala nabantwana.
Okay.
So zaphumelela kodwa ukuba kwalo mama akabhatali senza into enye nje ngoba
sisenza. Same thing naye, warrant of arrest naye.
No, into esiyenzayo mama siyakuganisha sithathe imali emrholweni singakhange sikubize ngoba ngoku phaya xa sijonga umthetho lo we-maintenance awuthi mawubizwe. Uba u-section 26 umuntu uyamfunda awuthi biza the other party. Into ebangwa yiloo nto inye yinto yokuba xa ngaba kwenziwa le court order umagistrate uyakuxelela into eza kwenzeka xa ungakhange uqhubeke ubhatala imali yakho yesondlo. Uyakuchazela uba okokuqala singayithatha le mali singakhange sikubize. Okwesibini singahamba sithengise impahla zakho sizithengise sifumane i-maintenance. Singahamba ke siye nakwi-retirement annuity yakho, singahamba siye kwi-provident fund yakho, sikubiza nje xa sizawuthatha la mali xa ngaba mhlawumbi uxoshiwe emsebenzini then uzawufumana lo retrenchment package yakho. Sihambe sithi yiza ke tata ukwenzela uba ubonakalise ukuthi uzabanika malini abantwana ngexesha ungasebenziyo.
Okay, but Felicity, I mean, maybe talk to us about, are there any policy recommendations or changes that you would actually suggest in order to improve the overall child maintenance system? I mean, you said you come from the system. This is what necessitated, you know, the need for you to start this organization.
I'm going to flip this, and I'm going to say, we have a maintenance act that is quite substantial.
Yeah, but it needs to be implemented properly.
If we interpret it and we implement it properly. So I don't want to talk about possible amendments. I want to speak to like the biggest challenges that women face in the courts. And I'm going to say women, very gendered, because women generally earn less than men. There are more women who are unemployed. Most of the women are primary caregivers. And while both genders are affected, this has a very gendered impact.
Yeah.
So 60% of women are not getting a single cent maintenance for their children, raising children on, which contributes to poverty and to gender inequality and economic inequality. So it's a very significant subject that has to be dealt with. And the other thing is, like if we look at the time delays, so yes, if we take the arrears, okay, for example, 7 days in arrears, you now go and lodge your application. By the time they find the person and serve papers, as you heard, you know, they don't come. So it could be, it normally happens in like 3 months increments.
What is the child eating in that interim?
Well, there we go. So whether it's first appearance or arrears, this is where the problems become, is that, so 3 months between court appearances. So if they miss court 3 times, you're looking at 9 months. Sure. So if it's arrears, you've got 9 months arrears. And then if it's first-time application, you've got now, our Maintenance Act says that the obligation is due from the day the child is born. But our courts don't backdate it. They do it from the day that the court. So you can see the space to manipulate the act and the system. So even if like a garnishee order, if they don't come to court, and Mlindeli will tell you that the first thing, so you can issue a garnishee order if they're not there, if they're employed. The moment they get notice there's a garnishee order, they make an application to appeal it.
Okay.
And it gets, so you're back to square one again. Yes. Okay, so that's one of the issues. The other one is, yes, there's an attachment order. So the first thing they do is, so you can go criminal or civil route. The priority is to go civil route. You want the money because that's what's going to keep children alive. But who's going to pay? Yes, going to attach their things, but the applicant must pay for the attachment,
for
the storage.
Felicity.
So you've got to come with a whole bunch of money to enforce attachment. Don't say we can attach goods. Who pays for that attachment? The applicant.
Because kushiwo engathi kunama fees manje kuwo wonke laba process very quickly sengiphelelwe na isikhathi baba. Bese ngakakhulumi ngeimali ekumele ikhokhwe la.
Yabona sizakuxelela section 27 nguye lo warrant of execution.
Okay.
Nguye lo Felicity athetha ngayo.
Yes.
Ngoba kaloku la lanto section 27 nguye owenza lento kuthathwe impahla emntwini uba ziyothengiswa.
Okay.
Ukuthengiswa kwazo ngoku storage sizawubhatalwa nguwe wena mntu bucomplain. Yilento sithi ke ngoku xa sicinga okanye sithetha ukuthi iSouth African Law Reform Commission mayitshintshe lento ikhawulezise ukwenzela uba kungabikho nto ucomplainant azayibhatala ngoba usakolota imali.
Okay.
But section 28 right here. Section 28 uthatha imali ayithathe kumqeshi.
Okay, but all right, Tata Mlindeli, unfortunately, I'm going to have to cut you off there because unfortunately, I've run out of time. But thank you so much, guys. If Nisa Mbuzo, you can direct them lapaya on our social media platforms in consumer at sabc.co.za. Thank you so much, Felicity, guest there of child maintenance difficulties in SA, alongside Utata Mlindeli Ndingaye of the Department of Justice. Yenage, he's a maintenance officer. Ningabathola numbers have been there. We're also going to put them on our social media platform so that you have direct access to them. Otherwise, thank you so much for your contributions this afternoon. We'll see you again next time.
Yilungelo.